Welcome back to Summer Money. Well, what makes a good leader? It's a question that business owners find themselves asking from time to time. And while there are different styles of leadership, one unavoidable truth is that bad leadership leads to unhappy employees and can have a pretty huge negative impact on your business. So how can you avoid the common leadership traps? Sky News business host Natalie McDonald spoke with business psychologist Sebastian Salicru for his take.
Well, the situation is not very good at the moment. Another way to put it, of course, is that we've got a great opportunity. And the reason we know that is because we've got different types of data sets that tells us that. For example, research done by the Centre of Work Leadership at the University of Melbourne tells us that 75% of employees believe they need better managers and leaders. And employee engagement in Australia, according to Gallup, is costing about $54.4 billion, with B, not M, billion.
So why is that then? What's led us to this point?
Well, there are a lot of reasons, but in essence begins with the fact that leadership and context are inseparable. And the context has changed dramatically in recent years due to technology. And people still keep doing the same things as they were doing maybe 20 years ago in response to the context. And therefore, organizations really struggle to respond with the amount of turbulence and change that happens.
So that's what's going wrong right now. But in terms of moving forward and how we correct this, your book outlines a lot of different models and a lot of different practices and techniques. How are they different perhaps to your more traditional methods?
Okay. Well, an important point is to let go a little bit to those models of leadership, like the Marlboro Man type of mentality, heroic type of leaders, and move to more collective or distributed models of leadership. Because at the end of the day, leadership is a relationship where people need to get involved. We need to let go a little bit of competency models, although they are the foundation of leadership, because competencies are based on the behavior of people that have been successful in the past. Now, the past is very different than what it is today and what it is the future. So those are some of the things that we need to let go.
One of the key ideas that you discuss in the book is adaptive leadership. What do you mean by that? Okay,
today we talk about adaptive problems. Adaptive problems are very different than technical problems. A technical problem is a problem that we know what the solution is. We know how to solve it because we've done it many times. But today we have a lot of problems that are new. We don't have the solution. That's what an adaptive problem is. It's a problem with a not known solution. And it requires everybody involved. They're very complex problems. And it requires a little bit of experimentation. And that's a lot of people don't realize that. They treat a lot of the adaptive problems we have today like they were technical problems. Organizational change is a good example.
So let's put this into practice then. What are some of the tangible ways that businesses can go about improving performance and getting those high level of results?
Involving people in a simple way is the best way. So that thing of just training senior leaders and then training middle managers and the rest of the people in separate cohorts, this is all hat, really. Forefront organizations, they use what's called leadership as practice, and they get people to interact a lot more together.
Well, many ideas have come and gone in the leisure industry, but one company who have their finger pressed firmly on the entertainment pulse is FunLab. The group behind Strike Bowling Bars and Sky Zone indoor trampoline parks, how fun, has a new venture which is already proving incredibly popular. Holy Moly is Australia's first putt-putt mini golf offering a full-service licensed bar. FunLab CEO Schreiber spoke earlier with Sky News business reporter Hannah Blackerson about finding success in the entertainment industry, and here's what he's learned throughout his long career in the industry of fun.
I set up a business with the ex-CEO of Village 9 Leisure at the time and carried on evolving, what this next form of entertainment was. I was in business for about 6 years in that business, and it was a business called Entertainment Development Group. We did a lot of entertainment at Crown Casino at the time, and then left that business to set up on my own. And that's when I came up with the brainchild of Strike, which was really, instead of going down the high-tech route, it was much more of a high-touch type of entertainment. a time-tested 5,000-year-old or 100-year-old entertainment in its newest form, and it was just repositioning that and repurposing it for entertainment over sports. So that was the start of Strike Entertainment.
Tell me a bit more about
2002.
Tell me a bit more about Strike. When you first started that off, what were some of the obstacles that you faced?
Look, at the time, it was really finding the real estate. So it's a location-based entertainment concept, and we were looking for space, 1,200 square metres around in CBDs or inner urban environments. Obviously, being bowling lanes, it's you need 30 metres in a straight row, so not easy to find the right type of real estate. So real estate was probably the biggest barrier to entry and held back an aggressive rollout, so we couldn't go out after we had proof of concept and sign 20 leases. There just wasn't that real estate. So that was one of the barriers. And then, you know, scaling up a business and, you know, going from a startup to where we've got to today, you know, not for the faint-hearted. You need a lot of determination, grit, and self-belief, really.
Was it a hard sell to begin with when you decided that bowling was going to be the next big thing?
It wasn't that hard to sell. You know, I think it's got such a wide appeal, and people actually loved going bowling. But the problem at the time was that league bowling still dominated the traditional bowling market. So the traditional operators just weren't catering to the demand for the social bowler and that entertainment experience. So they'd say, oh, there's league bowling tonight, you know, you can come at 9 o'clock for 20 minutes. So they just were not looking after the social bowler. And 2000 was the time that social bowling overtook league bowling as the dominant part of the market, of the bowling market. So it wasn't that tough a sale. The market was waiting for it.
How did you get from Strike to Sky Zone?
So Sky Zone, you know, Sky Zone, the trampoline park market started probably in around 2006, just before the GFC. Sky Zone were the founders of that market. The first trampoline park in Australia opened in 2012. Towards the end of 2012, we saw it, and we were a fast follower in that business. It also really struck a chord with the consumer. It complemented what we were doing. So it was a natural progression and an expansion for us into the trampoline park business. And then we found ourselves with two brands, being Strike and Sky Zone, and that just led us to, you know, reinvent ourselves as a platform entertainment company in the guise of Fun Lab, and that's now has a number of different entertainment brands, both in the market and in development.
Another one of those brands, one of your more recent brands, is Holy Moly. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, Holy Moly. It's a real fun product. It's a mashup of mini golf meets cocktail bar meets art meets music, just to create a fun, irreverent, unique experience. And we use a lot of cultural references and satire in setting up mini golf like no one's ever seen it before. So really, again, reinventing a nostalgic experience, repackaging it up, and I think, again, striking a chord, specifically today with our digital lives. You know, it's really a place where people can come and just connect socially with other people and have an amazing in real life experience versus, you know, a digital experience. So there is definitely a desire for people to have these type of experiences, and that's a trend, a global trend towards experiences over material possessions, specifically with the millennial market.
Were you surprised by the popularity of experiences like this, or did you think this was going to be the next thing?
We were fairly confident, but, you know, very pleasantly surprised by the extent of the success, which has really driven us to open 4 Holy Molys in a period of 12 months, and we have another 3 in development. So we'll have 7 stores in 18 months.
And I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of ideas come and go in your time. How do you know how to pick a good one?
I I think it's my sixth sense, right? you make enough mistakes and you get sick, and then you really think about things. Now, look, I've certainly, had a lot of experience in and around entertainment over the last 20 years, and it's been a long journey, and that gives you, a definite intuition around what the consumer is what's going to appeal to the consumer, how to set it up, how to stage an experience, the story behind it. So it's really, coming of age in terms of storytelling, delivering experiences, and, what we're wrapping up in terms of creating those experiences. The kit, the hardware, it's a process of, putting together all the details to create that experience.
Don't know about you, I'm definitely going to check out a couple of those places this summer. Coming up, confused by your home loan? You're not alone. Meet the CEO of a startup who wants to change just that. We'll be back after the break.
You're watching Summer Money on Australia's